Magic fans, I'm Beep and welcome back to another standard gameplay video. This time featuring a Render Inert / Overlord deck. So what is this deck about? So there was a card released in March of Machines, Render Inert. 3 mana sorcery that says remove up to 5 counters from target permanent and draw a card. So this did see some play when in March of Machines because battles like Invasion of Amonkhet were introduced. And this is a good way to be able to remove all the defense counters from battles without having to attack them down and immediately getting that value from transforming them. But then it kind of stops seeing play, mainly because most invasions weren't powerful enough to see play outside of that very specific time window when it was launched. And things like, and obviously this is a black card, so it's got to be in a black deck. And things like Invasion of Zendikar, which you see the most of, is obviously in green, so you're not really going to see Render Inert in there. But it has made a bit of a comeback with the new Overlords. So there are 5 Overlords in Duskmourn, and they each are enchantment creatures, avatar horrors, and they have a new mechanic called Impending. So what they do is whenever the Overlord enters or attacks, you do something. So for example, Overlord of Balemurk, when it enters or attacks, you mill 4 cards, then you may return a non-avatar creature card or a planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. And it has a separate cost called Impending. So Overlord is Impending 5 for 1 and a black. Impending is a lot like Suspend. If you play it for its Impending cost, it comes down with 5 time counters on it. In this case 5, other cards have different amounts. While it's got time counters on it, it is not a creature, it's just an enchantment, but you still obviously get that first ETB effect, so you still get that mill 4 and return a card. At the beginning of each of your end steps, you remove a time counter, and when it doesn't have any time counters on it, it becomes a creature. The downside to this is, because it's at the end of your turn, when that last counter is removed and becomes a creature, there is that window of your opponent that basically has a turn to remove it as a creature before you get to attack with it. But it is quite powerful. I don't think they're quite as powerful as some people think, but they can be very, very powerful. So we've got Overlord of the Balemurk, and then Overlord of the Boilerbilges, aka Inferno Titan at home. It's a 6 mana at 5/5. When it enters or attacks, it does 4 damage to any target. It has Impending 4 for 4, so you can get it on the battlefield for 4. It deals that 4 damage, and 4 turns later you'll get it as a creature. Obviously Overlord is 5 turns later, but obviously these are time counters, so you can Render Inert them to remove the counters, and you immediately get that transformation. And because they're on the battlefield, if you say you play an Overlord turn 4, turn 5 you Render Inert, it doesn't have Summoning Sickness, so you immediately smash it in for 5 and then that 4 from its trigger as well. We also do have a battle in Invasion of Amonkhet. It's a 3 mana battle with 4 defense counters, and when it ETBs, each player mills 3 cards, then each opponent discards a card, you draw a card. That's just pretty good value anyway, especially as we like the graveyard, especially things like Overlord. Because Overlord, there has been a tendency recently for Wizards to make mill effects, min and return effects. You can only return cards milled that way. Overlord doesn't work like that. You mill 4 cards and you can return any non-avatar creature. Non-avatar is important, means you can't get back another Overlord. You can't just cycle those through. But then if we transform the invasion, maybe by dealing 4 damage to Overlord, a turn 3 invasion into a turn 4 Overlord is pretty good. Or if we Render Inert, or just hack it down with some of our creatures, it comes back as a Lazotap Convert, a 4/4 creature, but then when it enters, we may have it enter as a copy of any creature card in any graveyard, such as a 4/4 black zombie in addition to its other colours and types. So this can come back as an Overlord if those are in our graveyard, or it's really good with Deep Cavern Bat, having a 4/4 flying lifelink, and Hand Disruption is just really, really powerful. But we do have some other creatures that we can get back with it as well. So that's another use for Render Inert. Now, round another deck, we have some removal, 4 cut down, 4 go for the throats, pretty standard. As we said, 4 Deep Cavern Bat, just a really, really disruptive card, especially as a 4/4 with Invasion of Amonkhet. And there is a great synergy of Overlord. We play a Deep Cavern Bat and take an opponent's most powerful card in their hand. They remove it. They always remove it. You play an Overlord, you just get the Deep Cavern Bat back. And when it transforms the Overlord, you can just keep on attacking, keep on getting it back. It is incredibly frustrating and powerful. And it doesn't bring it back with... it comes back to your hand, so basically you need 4 mana to be able to impend the Overlord and play Deep Cavern Bat. It's not a huge amount. Or play 5 mana and just crack in with it. And the other 2 creatures we have are new cards as well. Osseous Stick Twister, only 2 copies. 2 mana, 2/2 with lifelink. It has Delirium. Delirium is also a returning mechanic. basically, if you have 4 or more card types among cards in graveyard, it does a thing. So the card types are instant sorcery, planeswalker, creature, artifact, enchantment, and battle. I don't think I've missed any, though I think there are 7. So if we have, and we do have pretty much everything in our deck. So getting Delirium is not massively hard. But if he does have a Delirium at the end of our end step, beginning of our end step, sorry, each opponent may sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. If they do not, the Stick Twister deals damage equal to its power to each opponent who didn't sacrifice a permanent or discard a card this way. So because it's the creature doing it, it's a lifelink, so it's basically do damage, gain 2 life. You know, if we bring this, if we have a 4/4 version from Invasion, that's 4 life, or you know, we buff it through map tokens or whatever, because someone chooses Get Lost in Us. You know, that is really, really powerful. And finally, we have 4 copies of Fear of Missing Out, a 2-mana 2/3, so a decent body. When it enters, discard a card, draw a card. Great card. You know, great way to get through our deck a bit. And also, we do like the graveyard, so maybe putting one of our Overlords into the graveyard can work, or maybe, you know, putting Liliana in the graveyard so we can get it back with an Overlord. But then at least Delirium is when it attacks for the first time each turn, if there are 4 more card types among cards in our graveyard, we untap target creature, then there's an additional combat phase. So it's only 1 creature and 1 additional combat phase, but you know, this is great because this can attack down the invasion by itself with Delirium, attacking twice for 2, or you know, causing our Overlord to untap and attack again. So pretty good card. And then mana base, we do have 4 copies of Gloomlake Verge and 4 copies of Blazemire Verge. I really like the new Verges. They are not hard to turn on at all. We do then have a few Surveil lands, which obviously do have basic land types, so they are more likely to be able to turn on the Verges. And then a couple of Feral Passages and just Island, Swamp, Mountain, and then 1 Darkslick Shores just as a fast land. So this is actually the second time I've recorded this intro. The first time I was a bit negative on the deck. I'd gone through a run, I think, facing just loads of mono red decks, which obviously just run us over, and a few other decks of like this deck not really working. But I've played some more games since then, and I am a bit more positive on it. As I said earlier, Overlord of the Balemurk and Deep Cavern Bat is just a nasty combo. Being able to, you know, play out a bat, you know, take something, have it killed, play an Overlord, attack with an Overlord, get it back, play it again. You know, it is just recursion, and because Deep Cavern Bat's only 2 mana, you know, it's not particularly hard to impend an Overlord and get it back. And there is one game in the gameplay videos where I actually hold on to an Overlord because I know they're going to take out a Deep Cavern Bat, because we know what their hand is. So I'm like, well, I'll just keep on hold of an Overlord, impend it next turn, get a Deep Cavern Bat. And it was against the Vraska Innkeeper's Talent combo, and we kept mistaking their Vraska, and they ended up scooping. So, you know, it is pretty powerful when it gets going. It can be a bit hard. There are a lot of moving parts. I did say in the first intro, I do think the Overlords could do with a ward. You know, these are mythic rares. They are expensive creatures. You know, impending on turn 4, then waiting 4 turns to be able to, you know, get the Overlord for an opponent just to kill it is a bit frustrating. There was a game where I had 3 Overlords impended. I'm like, right, in a few turns, I'm going to be able to smash in for like 19 in one go. And our opponent had 3 go for the throats in hand and just remove them. That is incredibly frustrating. So maybe like walled 1 or 2 or something, or some way just like you're going to get a bit of value and just don't die to removal all the time. But yeah, a bit happier about the deck after playing a few more games. I think I'm just frustrated about playing mono red all the time, as most people are. So that's a deck. I do really enjoy it. I hope you all enjoy it too. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in my gameplay. We go first. Well, if we get a land, we can render our Overlord. So I think we get a swamp with our Fabled Passage. And there's the third land. We can get back a Fear of Missing Out. So we did have Delirium for a second, but then we've taken 2 things out of our graveyard. So I think they're on the domain deck. But then we can render Inert and start hitting in for 5. get back a Stick Twister. And next turn we can play out a Stick Twister. We don't actually have any red mana. Yeah, no red mana is a issue. Let's see if we can dig for some. Means we're doing 4 potentially. Also puts out a range of cut down, which probably isn't gonna. Our opponent probably doesn't have a cut down.
For the sake of violence, I will keep watch.
Wow.
You think you can? You won't be outsmarting me.
Well, they pitch a Sunfall.
You outwitted me. Impossible.
I imagine they have another one then.
Seeds of perfection into the flesh of I never fought alone.
See, we can get them to sacrifice that. Hey, red mana.
Be made to obey.
We'll discard another Fear.
Sacrifices must be made.
I'm going to take out their Nissa with Render Inert. And attack down Jace. So if we draw another red source, we can just hardcast the Overlord. An untapped red source, that is. Obviously, we do have the Surveil land. There's the Sunfall. That is also a... Yeah, I'll keep that.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
Organic minds easily quelled. Surrender is simpler.
We'll pitch the Thunder in Falls.
Don't overthink things.
That's probably game. Jesus.
You can be made to obey.
Let's just take out their creature then.
One of your friends has to leave.
Just draw land. Come on. That's all you need to... Yes, there we go. Finally got to see the deck do what it's meant to do, basically. On the draw, do need a third land and some ways to mill beyond invasion, but hopefully Thundering Falls can surveil us into it. Doesn't really matter. Don't think we need another land for now. Well, let's surveil again. And then we can invasion, hopefully mill some decent things. Deep Cavern Bat with the Lazotep convert's always good fun. Well, I'm just going to regular Deep Cavern Bat for now. See what they've got. See what they're doing. So they haven't done anything. Are they just on the Boros tokens deck? So Get Lost can take care of our convert when it comes back. So I think I'll just in-pen the Overlord. They can take it out, but then we can render Inert and get it back. Well, get back a version of it. Well, let's Stick Twister. They can soul partition the copied Overlord. Do 4 to their face. Wow. Did they create the token so they could sacrifice it? Which made sense, but then scooping straight away seems an odd choice. Yeah, they could have, you know, soul partitioned the Overlord. We might be able to impend it again. with another. Well, we had the land, so we could probably impend it straight away. So yeah, but they just didn't do anything. Were they on Boros token? Who knows? We're on the play. We can Overlord turn 2. We do have Delirium. So next turn we can Thundering Falls, play out a Stick Twister. Hopefully gain a couple of life. That was the wrong choice. Sure, I will take Render Inert. Next turn we can Overlord of the Boilerbilges. And hopefully take out their Heartfire hero, but we may not be able to. But they're about to hit us for 8. I'm surprised. Well, we've got to try and take out their hero, which worked. So we're back up to 13, and next turn we can Render Inert Overlord of the Boilerbilges. Bilges. Attack with it straight away. We do have another one in hand, which we can play out and Render Inert. Take out their challenger, hit them for 5, gain 2 life. So Might of the Meek is ridiculous as a red card, because red kind of shouldn't be able to play, like, draw cards. They have what's called Shan Draw, the exile cards, like we just saw on Questing Druid. Or, you know, Seek the Beast, but I mean, that is just game. Yeah, like, giving red straight up card draw and things like Might of the Meek is just stupid. Oh, I suppose this is a keepable hand. sure. We'll just keep another creature. It is impressive how much often that doesn't hit anything. There's 14 cards it can hit.
This fight finished before brunch. I'm tired of your secrets.
I mean, I've literally like milled 8 cards and hit one thing.
This isn't how things were supposed to go.
We do have Delirium already.
Be educated in Phyrexian's ways. We can improve upon your ideas. Become subdued.
Well, don't need another land. Take out that Jace.
What you're thinking won't work.
Anything interesting in here? A deep cavern bat, and that's it.
These relics are precious. I won't let I require your expertise.
This can come back as the only thing we've got in our graveyard, a bat. Think I'll just knock it down for 1.
Convince you to surrender.
We can Liliana and get him to sacrifice one of their tokens.
Let's dig over here.
Okay, that was annoying.
I'll take note of all your failures. No secret escapes my grasp.
Well, deep cavern bat.
I will iterate on my performance.
Deep cavern bat. Get them to discard.
Enough with the
We will
mysteries.
pitch a cut down.
We all have things we'd rather forget.
And let's see what. It's just a land. We should have lead. We don't quite have lethal, but we aren't far away from it at all. Hitting for 12. Obviously, we would have had lethal with the deep cavern bats on the board. On the draw, but we have an okay hand. So you could do with a render inert. Well, let's deep cavern bat, see what they're doing. We do have a backup. Well, we could take the Brotherhood's End with our second deep cavern bat. Oh, well, meh. They can't cast the Brotherhood's End at the moment. Well, let's get out the Stick Twister. But now they do obviously have Brotherhood's End castable. Well, let's just play out the Overlord. I think we get... we get a deep cavern bat. They hit their own go for the throat. We have no red mana at all. They pitch a virtue. Well, there is red mana. I think I'll keep that just because, well, we can cast it. I think we get rid of Breach. They need to top deck the land for Chandra. Ooh, all our deep cavern bats are in there. What else do we have down here? So let's just render inert then, that. We get another render inert. Could take the Sheoldred, but I'm just going to take another deep cavern bat. So 4-4. Let's take their Chandra. And then let's swing in. I'll just get another deep cavern bat. Take their Breach. They are in a world of trouble, and they saw that coming and scooped it up. Overlord of the Balemurk and Deep Cavern Bat's just a nasty combo because they can remove a Deep Cavern Bat, we attack, get it back, take, you know, whatever they've got. And obviously Lazotep convert is a great thing to... Deep Cavern Bat's a great thing to copy with it because it is a 4/4/1. We gain 4 life every turn, but it makes it harder to deal with, you know, Brotherhood's End. On the draw, but we have an okay hand. So you could do with a render inert. Well, let's deep cavern back, see what they're doing. We do have a backup. Well, we could take the Brotherhood's End with our second deep cavern bat. Oh, well, meh. They can't cast the Brotherhood's End at the moment. Well, let's get out the Stick Twister. But now they do obviously have Brotherhood's End castable. Oh, let's just play out the Overlord. I think we get... we get a deep cavern bat. They hit their own go for the throat. We have no red mana at all. They pitch a Virtue. Well, there is red mana. I think I'll keep that just because, well, we can cast it. I think we get rid of Breach. They need to top deck the land for Chandra. Ooh, all our deep cavern bats are in there. What else do we have down here? So let's just render Inert then, that. We get another render Inert. Could take the Shouldered, but I'm just going to take another Deep Cavern Vat. So 4-4. Let's take their Chandra. And then let's swing in. I'll just get another Deep Cavern Bat. Take their Breach. They are in a world of trouble, and they saw that coming and scooped it up. Overlord of the Balemurk and Deep Cavern Bat's just a nasty combo because they can remove a Deep Cavern Bat, we attack, get it back, take, you know, whatever they've got. And obviously Lazotep Convert is a great thing to... Deep Cavern Bat's a great thing to copy with it because it is a 4/4/1. We gain 4 life every turn, but it makes it harder to deal with, you know, Brotherhood's End. Opponent goes first. We have a couple of Surveil lands, but we can Thunder and Falls turn 1, Gloom Lake Verge turn 2, and start getting down Overlord. Yeah, I'll keep Liliana. You can see what they take. whiffs. I imagine they're on the... Imagine they're on the Raxa combo.
This is my home, and I don't appreciate it when people tell me. Off you go.
Well, let us surveil. Sure. We'll pitch a fear of missing out.
Drop it.
And then let's just... We'd obviously do have to play the ward. Do they have Raska? They do have Raska. Let's pitch the fear of missing out. Another one. I'm going to hold on to the Overlord. The reason being, I expect them to remove our Deep Cavern Bat to get their Vraska back. That's fine. But next turn, I can Overlord. Just impend it. Get a Deep Cavern Bat back. Take their Vraska again. Tick up. Yeah.
You won't be outside
And then
me.
next turn, you know, they're top decking. They could top deck a Vraska, obviously. But then, you know, even if they draw removal for Deep Cavern Bat, we have our Overlord of the Balemurk. We can attack in, get it back, and just carry on that cycle.